Hey, mister, take it easy for you and dump like Beezy. But make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you know about your boy Jay, it's in the description down below. But we got part 2 or something. You know what I mean? Y'all thought I forgot or something? You feel me? Now, part 2 or something. You feel me? The horrific school shooting and the worst police response. Part 2. Part 1 was crazy. You know what I mean? For all my new subscribers and new viewers, if you want to go check out all of my true crime reactions, all of my cartel reactions, all of my fail reactions, whatever you want to see about your boy Jay, it is in a playlist section over yonder. But I'm not gonna lie, this video really pissed me off. Honestly, bro. Just seeing how the police handled this situation, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this right here could have been avoided if my man would have just, one of the officers literally had the scope on him, bro. Had the scope on him. You feel me? And I guess the head officer told him not to shoot. You feel me? Like, literally had this man in point blank range. Could have shot him broad day, man down was gang them. You know what I mean? Could have shot him broad day. You feel me? Right when he had the aim on him. Right when he had the scope on him. You feel me? They told him not to shoot him. You feel me? So that right there cost multiple kids their lives. Multiple teachers their lives because you didn't want to shoot him. When this man already shot at multiple people. Got a man walking around the school with an AR. The way that the police handled this situation right here, bro. It could have been very avoidable, bro. I keep it real with you. I'm busy.
I need to get one rifle. I'm trying to set him up. I need this building surrounded with as many AR-15s as possible. He then requested a SWAT team to the school. Another UPD officer calling a dispatcher said, "We believe that he is barricaded in one of the offices. There's still a shooting." When he was asked if the door was locked or anything like that, he responded, "I am not sure, but we have a Halligan to break it."
And like I told you, one thing I realize about a lot of super thugs is that a lot of these people do, all these people, no sugarcoating, bro. Even the video that I just got done doing with the weirdest killer in America, the Zodiac killer, bro, all these people literally killing for attention. Like him right here. He was getting bullied, you know what I mean? Basically, him right here, he killing for attention. I did part 1. I need y'all to go look at that. I did a freaking, another one. I got to do part 2 on that about a female. She talking about she just want attention, just killing for attention. Y'all, attention is a heck of a drug, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. And one thing I can do, me being foolish and me being immature in the brain, one thing that I can say, I can get up before y'all today and say, I used to get in trouble for attention sometimes. It felt good getting attention when I was little. You know what I mean? I personally used to do things just to get attention when I was little. You feel me? Straight up. I can admit that, though. That's when I was foolish and immature. You feel me? Because it felt good getting attention because I wasn't getting attention that much from my mom and dad at home. I was getting attention, but I wasn't getting attention that I want to get. So you know what? I'm going to act out just to get your attention. Even if it's bad attention, I just wanted the attention.
Halligan is a crowbar-like tool.
See how stupid and foolish that is?
Salvador continued to linger around the classroom. From time to time, he would fire his gun again, likely at any students he suspected might still be alive.
And killing little kids.
Would not be the only one inside the classroom that Salvador would come to torture out of boredom while waiting for the police to come inside. He went around the rooms, finding any kids who appeared to be alive. He would spit on them, curse at them, and even stomp on their heads and limbs to the point of leaving impressions with his shoes. A United States Border Patrol tactical unit rushed out to the scene.
You gotta die, bro.
From his wife, who had
gotta go
there.
For sure.
He was actually at a barber shop, getting a shotgun that his barber lent to him, and rushed out to the scene. He helped to evacuate some of the children. A U.S. Marshal
was spitting on the kids, stumping their head.
Was able to supply a ballistic shield. Other Border Patrol agents arrived as well, although they didn't bring the tools.
You gonna get it?
Little did they know, the lock to 111 was broken anyway, and Salvador couldn't have locked it if he tried. They didn't try to simply open the door.
Bro, go in there, bro.
More shields were brought into the school.
Got shields,
However,
bro.
They would have been useless if they were put to use, as only one of them was graded for rifles. Most of the low-ranking officers on scene began to grow frustrated at the lack of action, whispering to each other that they needed to get inside the classroom as soon as possible.
I know. Yeah, with kids. Hey man, you wanna let the kids out?
Salvador, through the door, yelled at the officers, "Don't make me come out first and make it complicated." Salvador then yelled, "Hey, you little fucking bitch," at a student. The student cried for help.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Salvador then taunted him with,
Oh!
"You're alive, but you're almost dead. You're gonna die, little boy." The police could clearly hear this from the hallway, as it is even audible in the footage. They still didn't intervene. Soon after, Salvador yelled to the cops, "If you don't come in, I'm gonna kill the bitch."
Open the window. Quickly, sweetheart. Quickly. Open the window.
He then continued to taunt the little
Go,
kid
bro!
inside. Because of what had happened to their grandmother, Salvador's cousin knew exactly who the school shooter was. As soon as she heard about it, she made her way out to the scene. She told the police who the shooter was and begged for them to kill him already. She revealed that her son, Salvador's young cousin who he questioned about the schedules, was inside the building.
He's being transported, but yes, she's being transported to San Antonio. I need you to please help us because he's got a rifle.
I just fucking take him out as my stupid ass nephew.
Okay.
Fucking kill him. Kill him.
Help us, help us.
Listen, there's other kids.
He's doing it because his mom and I can't breathe. Oh my God.
I need you to help us.
At 12:10, the first group of U.S. Marshals arrived on the scene to assist, having come from 70 miles away. Soon after, a DPS special agent said, "If there's kids in there, we need to go in there." Uncaring, another officer responded with, "Whoever is in charge will determine that." Anyone who suggested that they storm the room was quickly waved off the scene. The UCISD chief, Pedro Arredondo, was the de facto man in charge on the scene, but he was doing very little to actually get to Salvador. It has been speculated that Arredondo may have assumed that all the children inside were already dead, and instead wanted to focus on gathering more equipment before performing a breach of the
All
room.
these cops in here, and you
It
telling me
wasn't-
you can't move forward, bro. All these named cops. One freaking dude. You telling me you can't move forward.
Long before the little girls in classroom 112 called 911 again. They informed them that they were still very much in danger.
How far are y'all away?
They're inside of the building, okay? You need to stay quiet, okay?
They're inside the building. You just need to stay quiet.
The police still didn't enter into the room. Lieutenant Mariano Pargas, the UPD's acting chief, was told about the call to 911, saying that the room was full of victims and many were still alive.
Is advising he is in a room full of victims.
Full of victims. Child call 911 says the room is full of victims. The room is full of victims. Child 911. Child 911 call.
He then entered into the school and calmly told the other officers, "A child just called that they have victims in there," before walking outside again.
A child just called that they'd have victims in there.
The girls then called again for a third time, once again begging for help and saying that a lot of people inside were dead. Arredondo was more concerned with putting a sniper on the roof of the school, wasting valuable time by instructing officers on how to best do that. While he was doing so, the girls called 911 a fourth time, saying that they had found 8 to 9 students that were still alive and could be saved. Again, they were ignored. Lieutenant Mariano Pargas was once again informed of the call. He walked back into the building, mentioned it briefly, and then went back outside to call himself to hear the information.
Okay, in the call that you got in from the one of the students, what did they say?
Okay, Chloe's gonna be, Chloe, she's in room 112, on 112. She's with 8 to 9 students that are still alive, and then she's already
So how many are still alive now?
8 to 9 are still alive. She's not too sure.
And how many more?
She's not too sure how many are actually POA or possibly injured. We're trying to make sure they're safe.
Okay, thanks.
After ending with that "okay, thanks," he walked back inside and informed some of the other officers about it. However, when he then talked to a Texas Ranger, he neglected to mention the living children in the room. He then left the school and didn't come back again for whatever reason. When Pete Arredondo heard of the calls from the students inside classroom 112, he didn't change the situation from a barricaded suspect case into an active shooting case. In fact, there is more evidence that he tried to hide that information. Some officers were seen on video being told that there were no children inside the classrooms at all.
Do we have anyone that's hit on this side? Huh? Any of the kids or anyone hit?
No, we don't know anything about that. No kids are.
Hey, who's asking for the bullhorn?
Everything's closed. Like the kids are not in there. Can we check with the officer to be sure if anyone's?
Now, at 12:17, roughly 45 minutes after the massacre in the classrooms began, the school reported, once again over Facebook, that there was an active shooter on campus and that the authorities were on scene. After, Arredondo was heard outside, screaming to officers, "Tell them to fucking wait, no one comes in," likely referring to the concerned parents. Pete Arredondo would start to spend most of the rest of his time in the hallway trying to negotiate with Salvador inside the classroom. Each and every time he would get no response. Still, he kept calling out to him, over and over and over again, wasting at least 30 minutes on this tactic despite getting zero results.
Mr. Ramos, can you hear us? Mr. Ramos, please respond. Salvador, can you hear us, sir?
And this is just proof in the pudding. Just because you're put in a leader position, that doesn't mean you're a good leader. Sometimes it's not about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, bro, it's a lot of people that's in leadership positions that's not true leaders, bro. And it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? That junk got to be inside you, bro. I ain't gonna lie. True leadership got to be inside you. Leadership is not a title. No, leadership is what's within you, bro. That's leadership, bro. It got to be inside of you, bro. It's got to be God-given, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many people, bro, that is in leadership positions that do not know how to lead. This motherfucker don't know how to lead, but yeah, he's supposed to be the top dude in charge. Look at this motherfucker. He's scared, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. I'm just saying, like, how you gonna be scared with all them police officers, all that ammo, all that, everything that you have at your disposal? You scared of one dude with an AR.
Hurt anyone? These are innocent.
All them guns y'all have, bro. And you talking.
Please put your firearm down.
Bro, stop talking, bro, and freaking move up, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
We don't want
I ain't gonna lie to you.
hurt.
I don't want to die either, bro, but
Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ramos.
Minutes later at 12:21, Salvador fired 4 more shots inside one of the classrooms.
You just standing around. You just looking, bro. All them police officers, bro.
Minutes later, Arredondo, either lying or very uninformed of the situation, said, "We've lost 2 kids. The walls are thin. If he starts shooting, we're going to lose more kids. I hate to say we have to put those to the side right now." He began to try and speak to Salvador through the door again, asking him to surrender, and again he got no response. He tried again a few minutes later, again to be ignored. Salvador shot several times again at children he believed were alive in 111. He then shouted to the police, "Hey, come and get him." A minute later, he yelled, "Hey, come inside, bitch," followed by something inaudible. It's highly likely that Salvador was planning.
They just standing around. This is crazy, bro. Like, ain't gonna lie, this is insane, bro. Just standing around, bro, just letting them kill these kids. Like I said, bro, if you scary, bro, you shouldn't be in law enforcement. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just standing around like it's nothing. Just standing around. You know what I mean? Like, why we paying you tax dollars for, bro? You know what I'm saying? Why they paying you taxes? You feel me? You know what I mean? Pay you to protect and serve. You know what I mean? Protect, mother effer.
To die from the police's gunfire, much like many other.
Waste the tax dollars.
If he were to negotiate, he wouldn't get that from them.
Look at all these police officers.
To sit and wait for them to barge into the room and go out in a blaze of gunfire. When that didn't happen, he began to grow.
He is literally alive in the room, bro. He is literally alive in the room with this man, bro. You feel me? You just like,
never
crazy.
responding to the negotiation but shouting taunts at them
Starting
from
to piss
time
me
to
off.
time. Even he couldn't seem to understand why they weren't coming in to get the kids.
Exactly.
Arredondo was growing annoyed as well. He knew that he had dug his grave with this one. He had wasted a lot of valuable time, saved no children, and still hadn't even gotten into the room. He began to tell other officers, "People are going to ask why we're taking so long. We're trying to preserve the rest of the life. There is a window over there, obviously. The door is probably going to be locked. That is the nature of this place. I'm going to get some more keys to test." Starting at 12:30,
Bro
more
has
officers
no
entered
idea.
into the south door and walked past Chief Arredondo and Sergeant Coronado.
But y'all gotta understand. Y'all gotta understand. Look. Y'all gotta understand. So one thing you gotta understand, bro, is that some of the officers want to go in, as we seen before. You know, you got some officers like, yeah, we got to go in, but you got to understand it's rankings, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they want to go in. You got some of these officers, bro, they want to go in, bro. Like some of these officers, bro, they'll go front line. But you got the chief, you got the lieutenant. You feel me? They say you can't go in, bro. You can't go in, bro. You got rank. Now I mean, lose your freaking job or going against an order. You feel me? So it's like some of them want to go in, bro. Know what I mean? But when the chief and when the lieutenant and when the sergeant gives you a no, can't do nothing, bro. Rank.
Stacking up on the sides of 111 and 112 themselves, waiting to breach.
Can't do nothing. What they gonna do? They gonna go against the chief? They gonna go against the lieutenant? Gonna be jobless.
4 minutes, the Halligan tool that they wanted but didn't need finally arrived. The little girls in 112 called 911 once again, saying that Salvador had fired a shot again. They were told to stay on the line and be quiet. 6 minutes later, after waiting around, Arredondo said, "Just so you understand, we think there are some injuries in there. And so you know what we did, we cleared off the rest of the building so we wouldn't have any more, besides what's already in there, obviously." This was while the girls in 112 were begging for the dispatcher to send the police inside. They said that they could clearly hear them outside talking. Arredondo didn't seem to be so willing to enter. He told his officers, "If y'all are ready to do it, you do it, but you should distract him out that window." As the girls once again begged for the police to come inside, the DPS captain, Joel Betancourt, on police radio, gave a command for the breachers to wait, saying, "The team that's going to make the breach needs to stand by. The team that's going to breach needs to stand by." Another 15 minutes later, at 12:50, some of the Border Patrol officers got a janitor's key to enter into room 111. They then turned the key in the unlocked door, waiting to go inside. The Border Patrol had decided to finally make their way in regardless of what Arredondo wanted. Commander Guerrero had another agent give him cover with the one rifle-graded riot shield and entered into the room with his gun
Should have been
drawn.
did that.
Those two, along with 2 others, entered into the classroom. That was when Salvador, who had been hiding in the closet, kicked open the door with his gun drawn and began to fire at the officers. The officers fired back, finally killing Salvador and ending the rampage. The police began to frantically enter into the room and started taking some students out, unsure of who was alive and who wasn't. The scene was so grisly that many of the police officers ran outside to vomit. If it tells you anything as to how bad the scene was, officers were heard on body cam footage warning the others to avoid stepping on skull fragments littered throughout the classrooms. Some students at the school have said in the years since that limbs were severed by the shots, as well as heads. Most of the police had never seen anything like that in their entire lives, especially when it came to such young victims. Nevertheless, there were still some inside that could be saved. Blood coated the hallways as they rushed to get them outside. The scene was chaos as police officers were ordered to shut up so that they could listen for students' voices, but they continued to shout over each other. Stretchers were wheeled into the rooms and students were loaded onto them. However, it was found that the majority of them were dead, including every single student in room 111. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed in the shooting. 2 of them were 9-year-olds. Jacqueline Jalen Cazares and Eliana Amia Garcia. The majority of them were 10-year-olds. Nevia Alyssa Bravo, McKenna Lee Elrod, Jose Manuel Flores Jr., Uzziah Sergio Garcia, Amiri Joe Garza, Xavier James Lopez, Jace Carmelo Luevanos, Tess Marie Mata, Alethea Haven Ramirez, Annabelle Guadalupe
killed.
Rodriguez,
Hey.
Maite Juliana Rodriguez, Alexandria Ania Rubio, Jayla Nicole Silguero, Eliana Cruz Torres, and Rogelio Fernandez Torres.
Sorry,
Two of
bro.
them were 11-year-olds, Miranda Gail Mathis and Layla Marie Salazar. And finally, 2 teachers had lost their lives in room 112, 48-year-old Irma Linda Garcia and 44-year-old Eva Morales. 18 people were injured, including 14 kids, Mr. Reyes, Salvador's grandma Sally, and the 2 police officers that were grazed in the gunfire. However, several of the injured wouldn't live much longer, dying en route to the hospital. Had they had been rescued earlier, there was a chance that they would have survived. They had lived for 70 minutes with no care, after all. That extra 70 minutes in intensive care very well could have saved them. The surviving kids from room 112 were put on a bus in order to regroup with their families. This included the 2 girls who had been calling the police, along with at least 1 other boy. In the end, 11 kids and 3 others were admitted into the hospital for emergency care. It was found that a further 2 had died during their arrival. Some of them, including Salvador's grandma, who was airlifted, were taken to the University Hospital in San Antonio. At 2 p.m., parents of the children at the school were notified that they could now come pick up their kids. Given that the bus services were canceled, parents from other schools were asked to do the same as well. It was announced that the school term for that year was officially over, with only a few days having remained anyway. Graduation ceremonies would be canceled as well. Shortly after, the Uvalde Memorial Hospital held an emergency blood drive. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center told the public that they would urgently need donations after the shooting. They sent about 15 units of blood to Uvalde on a helicopter to use in the hospitals there. It wasn't long before 2,000 people had donated blood. In total, 315 rounds were found inside of the school. 140 of them were spent casings, while 173 others were live. 922 more rounds were found outside the building, most likely in the rest of Salvador's magazines that he left behind in the truck. Some of the rounds that Salvador fired weren't even found, with it being determined that he fired 164 times in total. The police had fired 35 rounds themselves in total, 8 in the hallway and 27 in the classroom where Salvador was killed.
Oh, no, with you, bro.
Many of the students who died in 111 and 112 were put into body bags and left in the hallway of the school. That is where they would remain for the night. The crime scene photo of the hallways of the elementary school filled with body bags in the dead of night has haunted those who have seen it. Some parents would have to wait until late at night and into the early hours of the morning for the final confirmation of their children's deaths.
Crazy, man. Crazy work. That's why I try to tell y'all, bro. That's why I like, man, freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, private schools, man, the wave, bro. You know what I'm saying? Going to private schools, bro. You don't hear about no private school shootings, bro. You don't hear about it. You know what I mean? Public schools getting a little bit too dangerous nowadays, man, for sholi-oli. You know what I'm saying? So private schools, man, you know, they got that thing locked down. You know what I mean? You just can't come into private schools, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. They got police officers, 5-0 surrounded. Private, they don't play by private schools, bro. You know what I'm saying? But public schools, man, that's where all the school shootings happen, bro. Public schools. Need more freaking police officers on the freaking, like, need more police officers in the dang school, man. And if you would have took the mother effer out, if you would have, sorry, I ain't trying to say that, but if you would have took that man out, man, in the beginning, none of this would have happened.
Consolidated Independent School District Police Department and the Uvalde Police Department.
Hey, you need to get out of here.
Criticized heavily for their response to the incident. As controversy broiled, Salvador Ramos's remains were going to be held by the Uvalde County coroner for weeks. All of the local funeral homes refused to have any sort of service for him out of both disgust and respect for the victims.
And they refused to have any funeral service? Dang.
Ramos's remains were going to be held by the Uvalde County coroner for weeks. All of the local funeral homes refused to have any sort of service for him out of both disgust and respect for the victims.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you can still bury his body. You know what I'm saying? I get that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, it's up to God. He's up there with God, you know, so best believe he's getting that punishment for sure. You know what I mean? But you could bury his body. You know what I'm saying? You could bury it. What he did is indespicable. What he did was inhumane. You know what I mean? But like I said, we're sinners as well. You know what I'm saying? We're sinners as well. So like I said, for me, man, one thing I live on and one thing that I, you know what I mean, cherish, bro. And like I said, I'm a sinner, bro. I can't act like I'm better than him. I can't act like I'm better than anybody. I'm a dang sinner. I ain't Jesus Christ, man. I ain't God, bro. I'm a freaking human. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you feel me? Just bury his body, bro. I know what he did was inhumane, bro, but just bury his body.
Eventually, he was cremated by Cast Ridge Mortuary in Crystal City. He was buried in a cemetery under a fake name, that being Lonnie, with no date.
You gotta realize everybody gonna see God though. You know what I'm saying? That's what come with judgment. Everybody gonna see God. Whether you not gonna stay with him or whether you get away from him. Everybody gonna see God. That's the day of judgment right there.
He was buried.
We all gonna be face to face with him.
Name, that being Lonnie, with no.
So get ready for that.
Hopes of deterring vandalism. Salvador's mom came to speak to a Mexican TV station, saying that she had no explanation as to why her son did what he did.
Hey, look, don't come to me, bro, like interviewing me about that super thug. I didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the reason he did that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, for me, if that was my son, bro, I'm not even talking to the media, bro. Get out of my face. I'm ignoring you. You know what I mean? Because you know how the media is. You know how weird people is nowadays. They'll try to make it seem like it's my fault why this little mother effer shot up the school. You know what I'm saying? I'm ignoring media, staying far away from media as possible, bro.
She stirred up controversy even further by strangely stating he had his reasons for doing what he did, telling viewers, please don't judge him. She added, I only want the innocent children who died to forgive me. She said that Salvador was not a monster, while admitting he could be a bit aggressive. Salvador's father condemned.
You said he had reasons. What the freak you mean he had reasons? You know what I'm saying? What the freak you mean he had reasons, bro? He had reasons to do what he did. You know what I mean? Bro, he killed he killed 9-year-olds, bro. He killed 10-year-olds, bro. He killed 11-year-olds. What reason? We got to watch out for the mother. So maybe the mother is part of the reason why her son turned into a super thug. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, you feel me, you know, she's part of that reason, because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. What you just said just blew me, bro. It blew me. I'm bewildered. You know what I'm saying? He had reasons. Hey, look here, man.
That much more, taking a lot of the blame onto himself. He said, he should have just killed me, you know, instead of doing something like that.
There's something wrong with you.
A memorial had been created outside of the school for the victims in the attack. It was covered in balloons, candles, and crosses. One local man made 21 different crosses for each of the victims, inscribed with their
19
names, and
dead.
set them
19
up
students dead.
A lot of people
2
came from
teachers
outside
dead
the
as well.
city to contribute to the memorial and pay their respects. Many local businesses offered free headstones and funerals to the victims. Even different food trucks and restaurant owners sent food to those affected by the shooting as well.
Sure.
It was announced by the UCISD Superintendent Hal Harrell that Robb Elementary School would never be reopened. It was set to be demolished to avoid traumatizing anyone related to the shooting. A board meeting was held, and it was decided that the students and staff would move to a new campus. Mia Cirillo, the little girl who called the police at least 5 times while covered in blood and pretending to be dead, was said to have been left extremely traumatized. She was left unable to sleep, with large patches of her hair falling out regularly. An online fundraiser was made to help pay for her therapy with a goal of $10,000. She ended up receiving almost 20 times that.
Dang, 479,000? You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. It's good people in the world, bro. You know what I mean? It's more evil than good, though, for Sholioli. You know what I mean? But it's good people in the world, bro. Really good people in the world, bro. You just gotta be, you know, pick and choose wisely, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pick and choose wisely. The goal was 10,000. The girl walked away with 479,000. Now you can use that money not only for your therapy, but for something else. You know what I'm saying? You see how God work, man. God win at the end of the day, man.
Are ending at $199,000.
Oh,
She was a little
199?
too afraid to talk on camera at first, but expressed that she wanted to share her story so that others can know the horror of what it's like to live through a school shooting and hopefully to prevent more. Keep in mind, she was only 11 years old.
Evan.
Or things that you want different, what would it be?
To have security.
Do you feel safe at school? Why not?
Because I don't want it to happen again.
Do you think it's going to happen again?
When Chief Lieutenant Mariano Pargas, who failed to mention the 911
Fire,
calls
you're outta
from the
here.
classroom, was interviewed again after that information was known, he said that he couldn't remember the calls. He instead claimed, "The last thing we thought was that the shooter had actually shot the kids. We thought he had shot up in the air, broken the lights."
Oh my God, bro. The last thing we thought was that the shooter had actually shot the kids, man. No, we thought he had just shot up in the air. Broken the lights, man. We had no idea what was behind those doors. And you are a piece of work, my man.
No idea what was behind those doors.
A piece of work.
But in a leaked call with the Texas Rangers, he ended up letting it slip that he very well knew the kids were inside.
He just lied like that?
The room was extremely dark, and we didn't know where he was, or the kids were standing, or they were by him, or not knowing what was behind the doors.
Joey Garcia, the husband of one of the teachers who died in 112, Irma Garcia, died only 2 days after the shooting from a heart attack while attending a memorial for the victims.
Dang, he died with a heart attack? What?
Joey Garcia, the husband of one of the teachers who died in 112, Irma Garcia, died only 2 days after the shooting from a heart attack while attending a memorial for the victims.
Y'all know that? Y'all know you can die, you know what I mean, from stressing? You can die from, you know what I mean? That's why I say it's very important for you to keep your emotions intact. You know what I mean? Like, you can get cancer from stressing. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things, like, your emotions off, bro, that can harm you, bro, when it comes to health. You know what I mean? So 2 days after his wife then got killed, he died with a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? So it's always breathe for sure, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, emotions, bro, can really, you know, affect your health in a lot of ways, you know.
His family later stated that the heart attack was due to the grief of losing his wife.
I just said, you know what I'm saying? Like, emotions, you feel me? Like, you know, like.
His family later stated that the heart attack
So
was
sometimes y'all gotta just take it easy.
Wife. Their 4 children were left without parents.
Dang.
The UCISD created a fund for those kids and other victims. So
now they a foster home.
$75,000 to go to the funerals.
Crazy.
Catholic Extension, a non-profit organization that tends to finance impoverished Catholics, announced that it was giving 30 full scholarships for the students wounded in the attacks to attend a different school in Uvalde. Soon after the massacre occurred, the FBI and the ATF began to assist the local police in their investigation. They quickly grabbed Salvador's guns and took them in for an analysis. Soon after, the Texas Rangers began to assist as well. The response by the police to the shooting was so abysmal that even the United States Department of Justice announced that they would be reviewing the law enforcement response at the request of the mayor of Uvalde himself, Don McLaughlin. In the beginning, misinformation about the massacre and contradicting accounts between the different agencies who assisted in the response were making the investigation very difficult. Some of them claimed that Salvador used a handgun, others correctly stated that it was a rifle. Some claimed that his body armor made it even more dangerous, when it came to be known that he had no body armor at all. Some claimed that an officer exchanged gunfire with him outside the school, but then it came to be known that an officer had asked for permission to fire, but no gunfight took place.
I just said right down in the beginning.
This was a school resource officer, but then it came to be clear that the school resource officer had driven off to pursue a teacher. It was an absolute mess. At first, the Texas Department of Safety, or DPS, Director Steve McCraw said that the police engaged immediately. He said, "They contained the gunman in the classroom and put the tactical stack together in a very orderly way and breached." However, he soon changed his story to add that they were forced to delay the response because they needed specialty equipment, armor, snipers, and negotiators.
One dude.
The DPS even blamed a teacher for letting Salvador in, saying that she had propped open the door. This was not true, as the reason he got in was due to the fact that the door could only be locked from the outside. While the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, originally praised the police for their response, it was before he knew all
blaming
the
details.
The teacher? When he came to learn the facts, he quickly changed his tune and began to call for an investigation into the lack of initiative displayed by the police. He said, "Bottom line would be, why did they not choose the strategy that would have been the best to get in there and to eliminate the killer and to rescue the children?" The governor announced that he had been misled and given inaccurate information, saying that he was absolutely livid about it. The mayor of Uvalde was especially frustrated at the governor's initial praise. 2 days after the massacre, at a press conference, a DPS official was asked whether the police had made a critical error. He said that they didn't have enough information to answer definitively just yet. However, that same day, another DPS officer defended the police, saying, "If they proceeded any further, not knowing where the suspect was at, they could have been shot, they could have been killed, and the gunman would have had an opportunity to kill other people inside that school."
Bro, it was freaking so many of y'all, bro. It was only one gunman, bro. You know what I mean? Literally one. You see how easy it was for y'all to kill him just like that? You know what I mean? He even started firing back at y'all, you know, before he even died. Y'all killed him in an instant. Bro, it's like freaking close to 30 of y'all in the building. It's only one of him. What are we saying here?
The Uvalde PD police chief, Daniel Rodriguez, similarly defended his officers that same day, saying, "It is important for our community to know that our officers responded within minutes." The former police chief of Austin and Houston, Art Acevado, disagreed, tweeting, "We don't have all the particulars right now, but when the gunfire is ringing out with the police are trained, expected, and required to engage. This is a moral and ethical obligation." However, it was only a day later that the DPS began to see how things really went down. They acknowledged that several bad actors had made errors that, without a doubt, led to more bloodshed. The director of the DPS, Stephen C. McCraw, said, "With the benefit of hindsight where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period."
And people make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I told you, I'm not the type of person, you know what I'm saying, to be bashing you, bro. People make mistakes, you know what I mean? Y'all just made a very costly mistake. You know what I mean? You made a mistake, you know what I'm saying? You human, you feel me? Like, you know, because I'm going to keep it real. Like I said, I ain't finna be front line. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. So I already know, like, how I am. So I'm not going to join law enforcement because I already know how I am. I'm not finna go towards gunfire. You know what I mean? That's why I salute police officers for being so brave. You know what I'm saying? Because that's brave work. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's easy to critique and criticize them when we behind the computer screen or when we, you know what I mean, on the outside looking in. It's easy to be like, oh, go, 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 go. You know what I mean? But if you was in that position, you'd be standing still too, shoot. You know what I mean? Waiting for an order. Okay, the chief said standing still, so we're going to stay on still then. You know what I mean? I bet y'all mother effers went up in it. That's what I say. I wouldn't went up in it either. You know what I'm saying? I would have been on the wall just like that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I already know how I am. So I ain't never been in law enforcement because I know how I am. I'm not running towards gunfire. So you telling me, what you telling me is, okay, you brave, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to serve, you want to protect and serve the community. You feel me? So protect and serve the community. You know what I mean? That's why you joined the law enforcement, right? No excuses. You feel me? But you made a costly mistake. Though I ain't gonna be on your heels like that, you know.
First, ABC News, citing many different sources, reported
but I know
that the Uvalde
me.
Police and the UCISD police
so I promise you,
cooperating with the investigation into
I ain't joining law enforcement because I know me.
The DPS had now publicly claimed that the police had made an error by delaying entry into the classroom. They said that the UCISD chief, Pedro Pete Arredondo, quote,
"He'd be fired
in an initial interview but has not responded to a request for a follow-up interview with the Texas Rangers that was made 2 days ago." That same day, Arredondo denied the accusations and told CNN that he was in contact with the DPS every single day. However, he said that he refused to say any more because he didn't want to talk about the case while the funerals were still ongoing. He ended by saying, "Whenever this is done and the families quit grieving, then we'll do that, obviously." Many took this as callous in and of itself, given that he assumed the families would only grieve briefly and then return to their normal lives after the funerals.
Hey, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna go and tell you that for surely, like that's something that never like goes away, bro. It's like something that you have to learn how to live with. Now, my cousin died, bro. Sometimes it just hit me out of nowhere and I just break down, start crying. Know what I mean? And guess what? It feels like it just happened yesterday. And for the people that lost somebody close to them, they understand that feeling. You know what I'm saying? That feeling, that junk never goes away. You know what I'm saying? For real. I had times literally, bro, where I just started breaking down out of nowhere and started crying. Falling on my knees, just breaking down. Felt like he just died yesterday, bro. That junk never, ever. It gets better, for sure, but you just never get over that, bro. It's something that you never get over. You got to learn how to live with that junk. So you talking about quit grieving, it's going to get better, but that hole always gonna be in that heart, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be there.
As the teacher in room 111 had lost every single one of his students in the shooting. He himself had been shot in the arm.
That man lost every single one of his students. You know how traumatizing that is? And not only did he lose every single one of his students, he ended up getting shot as well. Imagine that, losing every single one of your students.
From his hospital bed, he criticized the police, calling them cowards. He said, "They sit there and did nothing for our community. They took a long time to go in. After everything, I get more angry because you cops have a bulletproof vest. I have nothing." He continued, "Nothing gets you ready for this. We trained our kids to sit under the table, but we set them up like ducks. You can give us all the training you want, but gun laws have to change. I will go anywhere to the end of the world to not let my students die in vain. I will go to the end of the world to make sure things get changed."
No.
According to the DPS,
we can't say gun laws get changed because, like I said, I'm a gun owner. You know what I'm saying? And I would never in a million years do this. You know what I mean? It's just the wrong person got a gun, you know?
When patrol arrived on scene, the 19 officers who were coming in and out of the school made, in their own words, no effort to get inside the classroom where Salvador was hiding. They said that this was because of the false statements that Arredondo made that Salvador was isolated alone in a classroom where he could do no harm.
Guns not the problem, people are.
Response. Angeli Gomez, the mom who was handcuffed by the police and later jumped the fence to rescue her kids, was interviewed by the media. She said that she was still on probation for charges she had received a decade before and that the police used this in order to threaten her into not telling her story. They told her that if she did, they would press obstruction of justice charges that would violate her probation and send her to jail. Soon after, her car was stopped in a traffic stop where a police officer accused her of harboring illegal immigrants in her car. After, she noticed a cop parked at her house for about 45 minutes, flashing its lights to let her know that it was present. However, her story came to be doubted by some when the Uvalde Leader News published an article saying that she was never handcuffed. Many believe that this, however, was a story pushed by the police to the publication in order to ruin her reputation even further. She hasn't responded to the article herself.
Weird.
Further controversy came about when the story of Ruben Ruiz hit the public, the man who had wanted to enter into the school to save one of the teachers, his wife, and was taken out of the building by the other officers. He was so disgusted himself that he resigned from his position in the police department. When the Uvalde Police Department's acting chief, Lieutenant Mariano Pargas, was interviewed after the shooting, he never mentioned knowing that any of the students were inside the classrooms despite getting the calls themselves. Still, he actually took credit for wanting to enter into the classroom, saying that they removed Ruben Ruiz because, quote, "We were just afraid that he was going to try to run in the classroom and try to do what I wanted to do if I could have done it." It came to be known that Chief Pete Arredondo had been elected to the Uvalde City Council only a few weeks before the shooting took place. The mayor, Dan McLaughlin, said that a special meeting where he would have been sworn in would no longer take place, saying that they were going to focus more on the families that lost loved ones instead. However, he lamented that, in his words, "Nothing in the city charter, election code, or Texas Constitution that prohibits Arredondo from taking the oath of office," saying that there wasn't an official investigation taking place into him. He was later sworn in secret without a ceremony, becoming a full-fledged city council member.
He got rewarded for that
State
BS.
Senator Roland Gutierrez
Crazy
said that
work.
he had heard from the Commission on State Emergency Communications that Arredondo had no knowledge that any of the kids in the classrooms had called 911. This was, of course, a lie. However, he didn't take a hard stance, admitting that he didn't know for sure at the time. He had even heard that Arredondo didn't have a radio on his person at all, which does seem to be true. However, other officers had been there relaying information from the dispatchers. It wasn't long before the New York Times was able to find definitive proof that the police officers on scene were well aware of the children trapped inside the classrooms. On June 2nd, a private meeting was held at the Uvalde City Hall where many of the higher-ups from around town were present. The meeting was arranged by the governor's office, and it was said to be in relation to rising tensions between Uvalde officials. During this meeting, the most clear signs of a police cover-up were displayed. A one-page document, very transparently titled The Narrative, was given to McCraw, the director of the DPS, by the city attorney Paul Tarski. This was, just as it sounds, the narrative surrounding the police response that those involved had written themselves. This was the narrative that they wanted to be given to the media. The city officials then began to pressure Steve McCraw and the DPS to start using their story. It was clear that the document was very favorable toward the police, highlighting, in their words, the quick arrival of officers at the school and their success in containing the gunman. Some excerpts were, "Within 5 minutes of receiving a report of an accident at approximately 11:30 a.m. on May 24th, patrol officers Mendoza and Salcedo and their patrol sergeant, Daniel Coronado, were on scene taking fire. They immediately pursued the suspect as he ran to rob school." This was the first lie, as they didn't take fire outside of the school. They also didn't run into the school immediately after Salvador did. Another excerpt stated, "Officers Pete Arredondo, Donald Page, Daniel Coronado, and Adrian stated they also..." This was the first lie, as they didn't take fire outside of the school. They also didn't run into the school immediately after Salvador did.
Why, bro? Why? Why, bro? What made you want it? Why, bro?
Other excerpt stated,
"Why?"
Officers Pete Arredondo, Donald Page, Daniel Coronado, and Adrian Gonzalez followed the sound of gunfire and entered the west end of Robb School, while officers J.V. Martinez and Eddie Canales entered into the east end of Robb School, also following the sound of gunfire. There was zero hesitation on any of these officers' part. They moved directly towards the gunfire. The total number of persons saved by the heroes that are local law enforcement and the other assisting agencies is over 500 per UCIS.
So why they got a lie for her?
These were more lies.
Come on, man. You know how America is, man. That's why I say I don't trust none of these mother effers. You already know they've been lying, bro. It's nothing new, bro. Tell them, trust me, bro. It's nothing new. These politicians, these presidents. I'm surprised y'all be believing. I'm surprised y'all actually be believing these mother effers. You know what I'm saying? It'd be funny to me. Y'all actually be believing these mother effers. You know what I mean? It's crazy, crazy work. That's why I say I don't look for none of these mother effers to save me whatsoever. You know what I mean? I don't look for none of them to save me. Look to God. That's all I look to is God. G-O-D. Jesus Christ.
Officers weren't able to tell.
They could do way more for me, you know what I mean? And I ain't got to worry about God lying to me. You know, I can worry about God being honest. I ain't got to worry about God being shady. You know what I'm saying? I can worry about God being straightforward with me. You know what I mean? When it comes to human, man, humans always going to fail you, bro. Humans going to fail you, bro, eventually, bro.
Fire was coming from, thus couldn't move right towards
I don't trust no politicians.
All of them also hesitated, grouping up in the hallway for quite a long time before even approaching.
Just a bunch of liars, bro.
Next, they immediately approached the door and were fired upon by the suspect with an AR rifle approximately 4 times.
Okay, I'm not even trying to shoot back, just running back.
Morales taking shrapnel to his ear and Javi Martinez being grazed by a bullet to the head. With both officers bleeding, they took cover a few yards down the hall to avoid fire and called for backup. Time was not wasted, but each minute was used to save the lives of children and teachers. Again, their approach to the door was far from immediate. Martinez was also stated to have been injured by material from the wall, not a bullet to the head. Then we have U.S. Marshals arrived with shields. No one else, not UPD, not UCISD, not Border Patrol, not DPS, not Homeland Security, and not any other agency had shields available. Bortak insisted that all the rooms be cleared, i.e. all the children and teachers be removed, prior to use of the shields and breach of room 112. There wasn't any evidence that Border Patrol insisted that all of the rooms be cleared before they made their breach. They also had the shields, many of which weren't even graded for a rifle, on scene long before the breach was made. And then, absent the shields, every UPD officer was of the opinion that breaching the door was suicide, and every Texas Ranger or DPS agent who took their statements agreed. Not a single officer present, including DPS troopers and Texas Rangers, believed that they could save lives by approaching that door and being killed one by one. In reality, several officers had expressed interest in breaching the room as quickly as possible, with one of them being dragged out of the building for insisting on doing so. There is also no evidence that they believed they couldn't save any lives. Stephen McCraw of the DPS was highly critical of the narrative.
30 officers talking about they can't save lives.
He refused to endorse the document as it was presented to him, saying he disagreed with their summary of the events. District Attorney Bushby also objected, arguing that she was concerned about releasing such inaccurate and incomplete information. On June 3rd, the board of the UCISD held a meeting to determine whether they would be taking any action against Pete Arredondo. They decided, not so surprisingly, not to take any disciplinary action against him. On June the 7th, Arredondo didn't attend the city council meeting. When the mayor was asked why that was, he said that he couldn't answer that question. It was on June 9th that Arredondo started to give his first interviews with the media and comment on the case. He said that the only reason he waited that long was to avoid blaming others or worsen the community's grief. Pedro Pete Arredondo said that he arrived at the school and thought that he was the first officer there. He said that he abandoned his police radio somewhere because he thought it would slow him down, saying that he wanted his hands free to fight the gunman. When this was scrutinized, he said that the radio's antenna would bump into him while he ran and might fall off of his belt. He further said that he knew that the radios didn't usually work well in school buildings anyway. He further lied, saying that he was completely unaware of the 911 calls being made from the classrooms because he didn't have his radio, despite being in the same hallway as the other officers talking about it. He said that he didn't know that he was the incident commander, thinking he was a frontline responder. This again would be a lie because, according to the National Incident Management System, the first person on scene is the incident commander. If he really did think that he was the first officer on scene, as he said, he would have known that that role would have gone to him. The DPS also described him as such, never implying that it was unclear to anyone else at the time. Arredondo said that he tried to open the door to classroom 111 while another UPD officer tried to open the door to 112, but both were locked.
Why can't we just be truthful,
This was either an outright lie, or they didn't try hard enough to open it.
Like, just be truthful. Just be like, I was scared, all right? I was scared. You know what I mean? One thing you gotta understand, bro. You know what I mean? You'll be way more respected, bro. You know what I mean? If you just tell the God honest truth, bro, I was scared, man. You know what I mean? I was shocked. I was scared. I was petrified. I was scared. I did not want to die. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. All these lies, man.
Then said that the door to 111 had a steel jam that prevented it from being opened.
Not helping you, bro. It's not helping
your
case.
This was also later determined to be false. Redondo then said that he didn't know that Salvador was firing from inside the classroom or that some other officers had been grazed. He would have had to be blind and deaf for this to be true.
Like, bro, they running away from,
Other officers had been grazed. He would have had to be blind and deaf for this to be true. He was in the hallway himself for almost the entire time, and all of the other officers continued to talk about being shot at throughout the entire incident. He said that he was provided at least 30 keys to the rooms, none of which worked. He said that he didn't get a master key until a while later, when another officer called him on his cell phone to tell him so. This further damaged his credibility as, while he didn't have his radio, he did have his phone and was able to answer it when needed. Then he denied he was a coward and spit a line almost straight from the narrative document. He said, "The objective was to save as many lives as we could, and the extraction of the students from the classrooms by all that were involved saved over 400 of our Uvalde students and teachers before we gained access to the shooter and eliminated the threat." The same day that Arredondo gave that interview, a committee began to investigate the shooting on behalf of the Texas House of Representatives. They explained that the investigation would be done in private in order to preserve accuracy and be as thorough as possible before coming to a conclusion. It took several weeks before it was revealed that the police didn't even try to open the door to the classroom for 77 minutes before the Border Patrol made their way in. This was because a law enforcement source close to the investigation leaked that information to the media after seeing the surveillance video from inside the school himself. The media at first wondered if this was because they assumed the door was locked, but the leaker expressed that many officers were aware it likely wasn't. Still, he said that Pete Arredondo had tried various different keys out, but not on the doors to 111 or 112. Instead, he tried them on other doors while trying to determine which was a master key. The DPS director came to testify during the Texas Senate committee meeting on the Uvalde school shooting that the police response was an, quote,
they not even shooting back, you know what I'm saying?
Antithetical to everything we have
they just let him put switch to booty on him.
Saying that, objectively, the police could have easily
got owned by one man.
3 minutes. He pointed the finger at Pete Arredondo, saying that he was the on-scene commander at the time. He said, "The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children."
That's what I just said. I just said that. You know what I mean? That's why I was like, we cannot criticize every single officer that was in that school, bro, because you have rankings. Y'all mean when I said that? You got rankings, bro. So they're going off in order. You know what I mean? Some officers, you see how the bro tried to go in there and try to get busy. He got pushed away. You know what I'm saying? So you just can't go in there and just, wild out. Can't go in there and just move forward if the person that's over you in rank telling you to stay back. So they was all staying still because of what's the name was telling them to stay still. You know what I mean? Telling them not to go up.
The Texas House investigative community came to release a 77-page report detailing the systematic failures and the poor decision-making on part of the police, saying that they exacerbated the shooting. The committee heavily criticized state and federal officials as well. Things were made even worse when it was confirmed via the records of multiple complaints to the school that the lock to room 111 was indeed broken, meaning that the police's claims of needing a master key or breaching tools before they could continue was entirely baseless. Either a ridiculous mistake that costed an hour, or part of an intentional delay. Like with many other school shootings, some people immediately jumped to the conclusion that the shooting was either a psyop or a false flag operation. Many of them were convinced by the simple fact that Salvador had enough money to buy the 2 rifles and ammunition. While it was a good amount of money for an 18-year-old, saving up around $5,000 over a year of working 3 different part-time jobs, Whataburger, Wendy's, and air conditioning, when you have no expenses at all.
You have $5,000 at 18 years old and you had no expenses at all. Like, what are you doing?
An ask. The minimum wage in Uvalde was
$7.25. At $5,000 at age 18, bro. No responsibilities.
Even at working a low 20 hours a week, that would amount to $6,960 over the year. Assuming that Salvador did spend a little of his money here and there, saving a bit over $5,000 wouldn't have been much of a stretch. Knowing that Wendy's pays an average of $10 to $15 an hour in Texas, it would have been even easier. The Donna Independent School District in Donna, Texas, about 240 miles from Uvalde, got a threat towards one of their own schools. Due to that, class was canceled while the threat was investigated. The Department of Homeland Security got involved, saying that this was due to both the false flag theories and the praise that Salvador was getting online. They said, Individuals in online forums that routinely promulgate domestic violent extremist and conspiracy theory-related content have praised this shooting and encouraged copycat attacks.
Yeah, freaking weirdos. Freaking weirdos talking about they praise the attacks. Weirdos like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to say you got some weirdos like that, you know what I mean? Just straight weirdos, you know? Straight weirdos.
Conspiracy theory-related content have praised this shooting and
praise this shooting. That's how freaking weird humans is. Praise this shooting and encourage copycat attacks.
Encourage copycat attacks.
Freaking weirdos, bro.
Adding
Humans
that
weird,
other people
bro.
aim to spread
Strange,
disinformation
bro.
and incite
Some
grievances,
strange mother
including
effers.
claims it was a government-staged event meant to advance gun control measures.
Government staged event, bro. Get out of here with all that conspiracy theory junk, bro. Bro just shot up a school, bro. You know what I mean? Spread disinformation and incite grievances, including claims it was a government staged event meant to advance gun control measures. Shut up. Like, that's one thing I realized, and that's why I had to get off social media. You mother effers always making up something, bro. Everything ain't a conspiracy theories, bro. Bro was just off the dope, you know what I mean? Bro was just off the narcs, and bro was just out of control, and bro just shot up a school, bro. You know what I mean? Like, stop speaking on things you have no knowledge of, bro. You just be fools, bro. You just try to make up anything. Like, you know how weird you are? You just try to make up something. You don't have no clue what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Well, they just called up a random dude. Yeah, man, just shoot up a school, man. You know what I mean? And after you shoot up the school, we're just going to kill you. What? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, just shoot up. I want you to shoot up the school. You know what I mean? And shoot up the school. And after you shoot the school, man, we're gonna have to sacrifice you. You know, we're gonna have to kill you, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, I'll do it. Like, it's just staged. He just agreed to die. You know what I mean? Don't make no sense, bro, what you be saying. But you people, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all better get out that social media junk. That junk be ruining people's brains, bro. I told y'all when I was on TikTok, bro. Oh my God. So glad I deleted that app. Conspiracy theories. I'm talking about everything that a person made up never came true. Literally, bro. I used to believe some of that junk. Like I said, when I used to be part of the Matrix. I used to believe that weird junk. Everything they say never comes true. Just a bunch of fools on TikTok just making up things. And guess what? He's saying what he hear. 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 Everybody just following a dang lie. Freaking simple-minded mother effers.
The city of Uvalde.
Where you get that from, bro?
Wait,
where you get that from? I just want to know where you get that from. Where you get this information from? You know what I'm saying? What, you're in the government? Somebody told you this? Motherfucker just making up things. Delusional,
related to the shooting. They said that the information was of no concern to the public, that there was embarrassing information related to criminal history, and that they may expose the police's strategies related to preventing and predicting crime.
I realize these motherfuckers shady, bro, but
anyone involved to a risk of harm.
I think they doing that. They ain't doing that, bro.
The dead suspect loophole as well, where information is suppressed in a case that has no convictions, such as when a suspect is already dead. On June 22nd, the UCISD board decided to put Arredondo on administrative leave for an unspecified amount of time. Shortly after, on July 2nd, Arredondo decided to resign from his position on the city council entirely. It wasn't long after that the Uvalde School Board voted unanimously to terminate his contract as the police chief. The district attorney of Uvalde County adamantly objected to releasing a portion of the security camera video taken in the hallway during the police response to the shooting. While the clip was edited to end right before the police entered into the classroom, didn't show any violence on screen, and was edited to remove sounds of screaming, he still opposed it. The mayor, however, thought that the video needed to be shown to the public. On July 12th, that video was released. It was 77 minutes of video compiled from both the hallway footage and some of the police body cam overlaid on top when appropriate. While the video was intended to be shown to the families of the victims first and then released to the public later, the opposite happened when the media ended up having a copy leaked and publishing it before that. This created a lot of anger among some of the family members, but others were actually happy about it being released to the public so that the community could see that they were being lied to about the police response. When the video leaked, all hell broke loose. Outrage was everywhere as it showed that the police had not only lied about their swift response, their early attempts to enter the room, and more, it also showed how not seriously they were taking the situation. Some cops were seen fist-bumping each other, others looking at their phones, and one of them was seen taking some hand sanitizer from a dispenser on the wall near the classrooms. More than anything, it showed them mainly only standing around while Salvador executed children and tortured his victims just behind the unlocked door for 70 whole minutes.
Crazy.
Salvador's mom came to say that the months since the shooting were very difficult
Fist
for her.
bumping.
She and her current boyfriend, Juan Alvarez, left town after the murders due to death threats. After that, they were kind of
weird, bro. Like, see how weird people is after death threats. Well, I be saying F people, bro. I promise you, my mama. That's why I be giving y'all straight hell. You know what I'm saying? Giving her death threats and her daughter the one that died. Weirdos. Oh, I say, but the last thing I ever try to do is impress people. You know what I'm saying? Come up to me with that death threats. You know what I'm saying? Promise you, I'm on one. You know what I'm saying? Just need to try the right one. But a lot of y'all be on the internet just talking. You ain't finna do nothing. You ain't finna kill nothing. You know what I'm saying? Death threats. You a weirdo, bro. You know what I'm saying? Sending death threats to a grieving mama. Sending her death threats for stupid little weirdo. I'm telling y'all, bro. Humans, bro. I'm trying to like humans. I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I used to didn't like humans, bro. Like I really I didn't like I just didn't like people, bro. Not gonna say I didn't like everybody, but people just like made me cringe. They still kind of do a little bit. Like you make me cringe a little bit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the way people do, bro, just kind of just make me cringe, bro. That's why I had to delete. I told you that's why I had to delete social media, bro. Like I just like what y'all find cool, I find cringy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm working better, bro, being better with Christ, bro, trying to love people more and all that, bro. But still just kind of still like that not liking people junk, that kind of stealing my spirit a little bit. You feel me? Like just because of stuff like this, like it's just like things like that humans should be doing. It's just weird, bro. You be just having some little weird old kids sending her death threats. Like what, bro? Man, I ain't moving out of town. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, I ain't moving out of town. You know what I mean? Straight up.
On the run.
I ain't finna act like I'm freaking, mad, man. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm a move militant. You know what I mean? Getting death threats because you never can just underestimate somebody, but I ain't moving out of town, though. I know I got that shorty with the 40, he ready in his glory, trying to get your body and tell his homies a story.
They moved to Oklahoma for 8 months, but she was unable to
know
find
what
a
type
job
of time
there.
I'm on.
She got arrested within 1 month of the shooting for criminal trespass and driving without a license, only to be released shortly after.
Hold on. What? Hold on.
Minutes. Salvador's mom came to...
Oh, shoot. That's Salvador's mother. Oh, shit. Oh. Still, though. What? That's junk. Still weird, bro. You know what I mean? But I thought that was a freaking, like... I thought that was, oh, my God. I thought that was a student's mother. Oh, my. Oh, my God. Well, still, to make it wrong, though. For real. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I had to kind of just screw off the lot. I was like, hold on. So that's Salvador's mother. So y'all sending death threats to Salvador's mother. It's still wrong, though. Everything I said in the beginning, I mean that junk for real. You know what I mean? Like, for real. That's still wrong, bro. You know what I mean? But I thought that was a student's mother. I was like, oh, yeah, that's weird. But it's still weird, though. You know what I mean? You sending death threats to a mother. She ain't had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird just still doing it in general, you feel me?
Say that the months since the shooting
still
were
weird,
very
bro.
difficult for her.
My opinion.
She and her current boyfriend, Juan Alvarez, left town after
Still
the
her
murders
child,
due to death threats. After that, they were kind of on the run. They moved to Oklahoma for 8 months, but she was unable to find a job there. She got arrested within 1 month of the shooting for criminal trespass and driving without a license, only to be released shortly after. After that, she bounced around from job to job elsewhere. During this, she was arrested yet again, this time for assaulting her boyfriend. After they decided to move back to Uvalde, together, and live at one of her mom's properties free of charge. She said that nobody will hire her now and that they both lived off of Juan's $900 disability checks and about $600 in food stamps that they got together. She now sells random products out of her house to make a bit of money. She also admitted that she keeps Salvador's room just as it was, almost treating it as a shrine to him. She's been proud to show this to the media, even holding up her son's clothes for the camera. However, Adriana got into trouble again when she actually got into a confrontation with one of the victims' families, yelling at them in public.
I'm just saying, like, why y'all coming to her? Like I realize you hurting, bro, but watch out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You weird, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, like, what she do, bro? Like, her son, the one that killed somebody. Y'all coming out like, it's dang, you got the wrong energy at people, bro. Watch out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave that lady alone, bro. Watch out, bro. Lady ain't had nothing to do with her child murdering people, bro. Watch the freak out, y'all. doing too much. I ain't gonna lie. You got your phone up, man. Hey, bro, you ain't gonna bring your child back. I'm gonna keep it real. It's harsh reality. You ain't gonna bring your child back, bro, doing all this junk, bro. Go and watch out, bro. Go home, bro. You doing too much, bro. Lady ain't did nothing. Lady ain't had nothing to do with her son shooting, bro.
And she actually got into a confrontation with one of the victims' families, yelling
you dragging it now, cuz.
at them in public. It was
all these cameras around.
This was the family of Amiri Jo Garza, and when they spoke badly,
like, rest in peace, bro. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to her for sure. I don't wish that on nobody, bro, but I don't understand why you attacking the mother like she has something to do with it.
Son, she yelled that they had no right to judge him. If anyone in the world had the right to pass judgment on him, it would have been them. She shouted, "You have no right to judge my son. No, you don't. Right. No, you don't. May God forgive y'all."
She right.
All they wanted was answers. As the family demanded to know why Salvador did what he did, they responded with, "What reasons? Because he was pissed off at you? Because you destroyed him? What reason did he have to kill 21 people?" Adriana replied that Salvador had mental health issues. She said, "I know my son was a coward. You don't think I don't know that? I know. You don't think I'm carrying all that with me? I know, and I'm sorry." It finally came time for the first officer involved in the handling of the shooting to face consequences. This was a Texas state trooper named Crimson Elizondo. She was investigated by the DPS for what they called actions inconsistent with training and department requirements. As a result, she resigned from her job. However, shortly after, she actually got a job as a UCISD police officer. Crimson had been caught on body camera footage admitting to the other officers that she wasn't responding to the case in a hands-on way because, more or less, the kids in there weren't hers and she didn't care. She mostly stood outside despite being one of the first.
Kids weren't yours and you don't care? You ain't never gonna succeed in this life with that attitude. Know what I'm saying? Treat them kids like they my kids, bro. Know what I'm saying? Straight up. I mean, dude.
The kids in there weren't hers and she didn't.
You being in law enforcement, bro, you just gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Care. She mostly stood outside despite being one of the first officers on scene. She told them, "If my son had been in there, I would have not been outside. I promise you that." When this audio leaked, she was fired from her job at UCISD as well. In October of 2022, another Texas state trooper, Sergeant Juan Maldonado, was fired from the
even if you felt like that, bro, you should have just kept that inside, bro. You don't know you got body cams on? Like, that gotta be stupid. But like I said, a person can only hide who they is for so long. Mother, if you got body cam on, so even if you felt like that inside, you know what I'm saying? Felt like that inside. You feel me? You know, cause like I said, I'm gonna keep it a beezy, bro. Yeah, I told y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in going in harm's way at all. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. So I just kind of like, I don't believe, I'm not going in harm's way either. You know what I'm saying? I try to tell y'all that. I would have been just like her outside. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to y'all, bro. I'm not going towards gunfire. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is, gang. I'm not going towards gunfire. You say I'm brave, whatever it is. I'm a smart mother, all right? F all that brave junk. I'm gonna just keep it a beezy. I mean, like I said, that's why I'm not going into law enforcement. So you inside law enforcement, that's what you signed up for, though, gang. So I know the type of person I am. What me knowing how I am when I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go on police officer to protect and serve. Well, if I know I ain't brave, you know what I'm saying? I'm brave when it comes to certain things. When it comes to look, when it comes to non-life threatening things, I'm brave than a mother. You know what I'm saying? But if life threat guns, AR, what? You know what I mean? 7.62 Draco. You know, life threatening things. Oh, Jay not brave. You know what I mean? Jay gonna stand outside that school just like her. You feel me? So I can't really bash her because that's exactly how I'll be. But like I said, I'm not law enforcement. So I feel like her being in law enforcement, she signed up for it. So you got to be brave. You signed up for that jump. But it will make it even more stupid. Yeah, that's how you felt, but you ain't got to say it because you got body cam on. Like, cuz you had body cam on, G. Come on, gang.
Yes. He had also been one of the first officers to arrive on scene within the first 5 minutes and failed to act in any meaningful way. More strange arrests would come to be made as well, one of which was the arrest of Nathan Cruz. This was Salvador's 17-year-old cousin, who was arrested on August 8th, 2023, about a year later. This was after he made a threat that was deemed to be terroristic in nature after—
Oh, shoot. We finna have another school shooter? You know what I'm saying? Finna have another school shooter?
About a year later.
You finna follow your cousin's footsteps?
This was after he made a threat that was deemed to be terroristic in nature after he told his sister, "I'm planning on doing the same thing as my cousin." adding that he would shoot her in the head before he did it.
Yeah, hey, I promise you, on my mama, if my sister or my brother ever said that, you cut off forever, bro. On my mama. You know what I'm saying? I don't put none past nobody. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I had to cut off one of my homies, bro, because bro said he was going to get his dog to kill me. But y'all look over stuff. Bro said he was going to get his dog to kill me. Pulled up on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Said, get your dog to kill me. I brought my freaking 40 over there. I said, man, I'll shoot your dog right in this dang. How they say he gonna get his dog to kill me. Right there out the rip, I knew I had to cut that mother off. Know what I mean? Then when I pulled up, bro had the gun out. I was like this. That was the last time I ever spoke to. I ain't gonna say I spoke to him. I seen him around here and there. You know what I'm saying? But that was the last time I ever hang around that motherfucker. That motherfucker showed me who he truly was. Know what I mean? But when people tell you who they are, bro, believe them, bro. That's all I'm saying. I would have overlooked it because we homies. F that, you ain't my homie. What type of homie say you gonna get your dog to kill me? What type of homie, you know what I'm saying? I pull up and you got a gun out. Wait, what type of homie that is? You know what I'm saying? Cut off. You know what I mean? See, one thing about me, I cut motherfuckers off. I told you, it's a reason why I only got 2 partners. It's a reason. You feel me? But let my brother and my sister would have said that. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I probably would have had to. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say I would have. I ain't one did it to you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, bro, you feel me? Hey, got to get cut off, my boy.
To make matters,
I ain't with all that. I ain't with all that.
Same thing as my cousin, adding that he would shoot her in the head before he did it. To make matters worse, they lived within walking distance of an elementary school as well.
Mama.
He was hit with a felony charge of making a terroristic threat to the public and another misdemeanor charge of making a terroristic threat against a family member. He was hit with a bond of $160,000 and remained in jail until the case was dismissed entirely due to a missing witness. Throughout 2023, an 18-year-old girl named Victoria Gabriela Rodriguez Morales continued to claim that she had been Salvador's girlfriend before the massacre. She said that they had actually planned it together, but he decided to carry it out without her. Given that there is nothing to back this up at all, her story isn't believed. However, she was known to issue threats to schools herself starting all the way back in 2018. That year was when she was sent to a juvenile detention center in Texas, but then she started sending more threats, saying that she would, quote, kill public officials, shoot schools, and kill teachers and students. One condition of her parole was that she would have to move back to Puerto Rico. However, she continued to harass schools in Uvalde even there, especially after the shooting. She threatened not only the school itself, but hospitals and even the survivors. She was found in Puerto Rico and arrested on 13 charges related to interstate threats. She's looking at up to 60 years in prison now.
60? Dang! 60 years?
Victims in the shooting, calling them all the little loser souls and saying that she hoped they were burning in hell. Of all of the people arrested, one was fairly distant.
What, bro?
Now, she badmouthed the victims in the shooting, calling them all the little loser souls and saying that she hoped they were burning in hell.
You're an evil
of all
mother.
of the people arrested, one was fairly distant from the case, geographically at least. You may remember Salvador's online friend, the German girl who he told that he was going to shoot up the school. While she originally responded with cool, she deleted this message in hopes that no officials would find it. However, the message was stored internally on Facebook and screenshots had already been spread around and discussed on Yubo. She actually got arrested and faced trial in Frankfurt on charges of failing to report planned crimes. She didn't see jail time, instead being ordered to undergo...
Yeah, man, I don't think she really thought that. You know what I mean? She probably thought he was just trying to, you know what I mean, talking. I don't think she just said cool, like, yeah, I think y'all did wrong with her right there. She didn't think bro was gonna shoot up the school for real.
Go what they called educational measures. Later, CNN reported on some of the audio and video related to the body cam of the UPD police chief, Lieutenant Mariano Pargas. You'll remember him as the man who got told about the 911 calls coming from inside the classroom and said okay before waving it away. It was found that he made a call to a dispatcher asking how many more were still alive in the room, being told that 8 to 9 likely were. It was found that he informed Border Patrol of the information, but neglected to mention it to the Texas Rangers. Just 2 days before the city council was to determine whether or not to fire him, Pargas retired from his job at the
fire all of them.
In January 2023, another Texas Ranger was fired.
This time being golly, they on a firing spree. That's what I'm talking about.
Ryan Kindle. This was because he had failed to treat Salvador as an active shooter despite his specific training, meaning that he should have known differently. However, when he appealed this firing, he was placed back into his previous position. In September of 2023, the DPS announced that their internal investigation had finished.
I ain't never seen Cassie before, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I be saying, boy. Y'all just be watching me, boy. Y'all don't even be commenting. First time chat. You know what I mean? It's the first time you ever chatted up in here, bro. How long you been watching me, Cassie?
More Texas Rangers.
Welcome to the family, Cassie. Welcome to the family, man.
Some laws were changed.
Some of y'all motherfuckers just be watching. Y'all don't even be saying nothing up in
this case. As a result of both this crime
hey,
and
I'm trying to get to know my
massacre in Buffalo, New York, the state of New York passed a new law that would raise the age requirement to buy a semi-automatic weapon from 18 to 21.
18
Texas also passed a law requiring law enforcement to partake in 16 hours of courses related to school shooting responses every 2 years. For the time being, it seemed that it was all over. The UCISD board announced plans to build a new elementary school to replace Robb Elementary. They began construction in 2023. It would be placed near the Dalton Elementary School.
Sad situation,
to form a new campus that would host classes from preschool to 4th grade. However, not all was over. While no more Texas Rangers would be punished by the DPS,
it's done crazy, bro. It's done sad, bro, for real. 9, 10, 11 years old, bro. Getting shot in the head with an AR. That junk sad, bro, for real,
other
bro.
officers on scene at the time. Many noticed that something seemed to be brewing behind the scenes when Pete Arredondo lost his honorary discharge status at the end of 2023. The Uvalde County District Attorney, Christina Mitchell, convened a grand jury to find out whether or not any of their own officers should be criminally charged for their lack of response on the day of the shooting. Shortly after, in January 2024, the grand jury began hearing testimonies. Steve McCraw, the DPS director, was happy to testify before them. Many other officers came to speak their piece as well. The Department of Justice had also finished their report detailing their own findings when investigating the case. They criticized a large number of failures on the part of the Uvalde police. They noted the failure to recognize the case as an active shooting, the failure to secure the crime scene, the failure to follow standard operating procedures, and the failure to communicate appropriately with the families. They even attacked the personal character of the police, saying that they lacked courage.
Oh, but the police is getting hell, boy. Like, shoot, y'all was tweaking, bro, standing around for 70 minutes. Y'all boy getting hell, but them boys ain't playing with y'all.
The DOJ had confirmed that the victims' families were indeed harassed by the police after the incident somewhat regularly in the hopes that they would
do your job, y'all.
This whole report was of major use to the grand jury. On June 27, 2024, the grand jury indicted the first Uvalde police officer, that being none other than Pete Arredondo. They then indicted another, Adrian Gonzalez. They were hit with multiple felony charges of child endangerment. Arredondo was hit with 10, while Gonzalez was hit with 29 charges. It's unclear why the difference in their counts is so high, but it was mentioned that Gonzalez was a senior officer who had taken school shooting-related training in the past, so he may have been seen as having more responsibility to act accordingly. Pete Arredondo was arrested and booked into the Uvalde jail that day, the same jail that he used to place criminals into himself. However, he was able to pay $100,000 in bonds and walk free for the time being. Adrian Gonzalez turned himself in a day later. He himself was released.
You see how y'all see how freaking like life can just change in a blink of an eye, bro. That's why I try to tell y'all, bro. Like, bro, I've been so humbled with life, bro. I don't care how big I get, boy. God done whoop my butt, boy. I'm thinking about God, but he didn't whoop my butt, boy. God showed me. Oh shit. All right, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Big thick roach right here. I don't give a F. Oh man, that mother. Where'd it come from? Where are you? I'll say I repeated this mother effer. Mother effer finna go to hell. Come in, mother. Finna go to hell tonight. Oh, I got that mother effer. You know what I'm saying? I got that mother effer, man. He dead. Like I said, y'all, bro, this jump be crazy. And like I said, y'all, my house ain't dirty. My mama and my house ain't dirty. It just be, bro, the roaches came out. No, y'all don't believe me? Roaches K, we killing them, boy. F that roach, man, we killing that boy. Yeah, I seen that mother effer. No, my mama, I seen that mother. I was like, oh shoot. Hey, but one thing God blessed me with, man, is good eyes. You know what I'm saying? Hey, God done blessed me with good eyes. Boy, I seen that junk. I was like, what the freak? I thought I was lying, bro. Come on, bro. Your boy Jay don't be lying, y'all. But I killed that mother for broad day, man. Man down was game, the man. Roach K, we killed him by. You know what I'm saying? Told y'all, man, when it come to buzz, I got at least 1,000 bodies.
$10,000 bail.
You smoking on roach, man. Smoking on roach, man. I know about man. That roach, man. We killed them boys.
Fines if they are convicted. Many feel that they deserve.
I'm gonna flush his little goofy self in the toilet. Rest in hell. Rest in piss.
It was time for Arredondo to make his.
And I'm gonna piss on him.
He predictably pled not guilty to all 10 of the charges against him. Similarly, Gonzalez pled.
Hey man, y'all better think twice about coming up in this crib, man. I'm telling you right now. Gay. We killing them boys.
Trial dates have been pushed back a few times. Only time will tell what kind of sentence they might serve.
You finna serve some time.
In autumn of 2025, the replacement for the Robb Elementary School, called Legacy Elementary School, opened for new students, about 2 miles away from where Robb was located.
I'm just saying, that's something you don't forget though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can switch locations, bro. That's something I'll never forget, bro. I'll never forget that jump, bro.
The ribbon-cutting ceremony that opened...
Like everybody that, like, imagine, bro, the people that you see every single day, you seen die, bro. And that's like, you being a young kid seeing at 9, 10, 11 years old. That's
school
crazy.
Was very emotional. Even though it was a new school, it was impossible to ignore the fact that it was replacing a school that was part of one of the biggest tragedies in American history.
Crazy.
This was something that the staff didn't ignore. The UCISD president, Laura Perez, said, "This school is not about forgetting. It's about remembering with dignity, rebuilding with courage, and choosing to believe in the future even when the past still hurts." The new school includes a tribute to the 21 who died that day, along with a memorial tree to honor them.
That junk is so freaking
The Robb Elementary School, as of the making of this video, still hasn't been torn down. It remains in town, mostly dark with only a few outside lights to prevent intruders. It continues as a grim reminder of what happened that day, standing in the shadows. Salvador's grandma Sally was eventually released from the hospital, finally recovering from the gunshot wound to her face. However, the bullet destroyed her teeth and a good portion of her jaw. She will likely never be able to speak again. She needed multiple surgeries even after her discharge from the hospital. A GoFundMe page was created to pay for some of those medical bills. It asked for $100,000, but it fell flat at around $47,000.
And what, y'all gonna blame her? Dang, every family, golly, man. You feel me? No, we ain't gonna rate. Dang, she a victim too, just like y'all. Golly, but just because she related to that mother, yeah, we're not gonna donate. Golly, gang. Shoot. She got shot in the face, she a victim too. Golly, but just because she related to the mother, yeah, we're not finna donate to you.
Still a surprising amount for the relative of a mass killer. Salvador's sister has joined the military and, by most accounts, never speaks of her brother. Salvador's mom believes that he is now in heaven, feeling that God has forgiven him for what he did. She said that Salvador's sister had a dream where he came to her and expressed that he was sorry, so it's all good now. She is still known around the town for being a bit crazy, to paraphrase the much more descriptive comments given by the citizens of Uvalde online. She boldly stated that she feels no need to apologize to the families of the victims. She stated, "What will it accomplish? It's not going to bring back the kids, and it won't change their minds on what they think of me or my son." As off-putting as her statements are, she is right about that. Nobody will ever think better of her son.
What do you mean by, yo, do you react to anime openings or Smith like this? I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Will ever think better of her son.
Gotta explain it. You gotta explain in more deep detail.
When he went in the classroom, he said, "You're all gonna die," and he just started shooting. I was playing dead, so he won't shoot me. He shot my teacher, and then he shot the kids. I think he was aiming at me, like the thing, and then he, like, I guess, like, one of the chairs were there, so it blocked it, and, like, pieces in my leg. I kind of don't feel safe going to school, and I feel hot, and sometimes at night I have nightmares too.
Crazy. Hey, I pray for you, little guy, for real. I know it's a very traumatizing experience. Wish that on nobody. So that is the end of the horrific school shooting and the worst police response. That was part 2. Part 1 you can see in the True Crime playlist section or the documentary playlist section as well. You know what I mean? But for all my new subscribers and new viewers, You know, if you want to go check out all of my, you know, playlist sections, cartel reactions, you know what I'm saying, fail reactions, whatever you want to see, it is in the playlist section over yonder. You know what I mean? And appreciate everybody for joining the screen. Make sure y'all subscribe and turn on the bell, do all that. I mean, but he said anime opening, that short video that lasts about 3 minutes in every anime. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't react to that, buddy. You know what I mean? But if you're new, you can head over to my YouTube channel, bro, and I got better reactions than anime. I promise you that. You know what I mean? I react to cartoons, though, but I haven't reacted to anime at all. I'm not really a huge anime person. I'm more of I didn't grow up an anime person. I grew up a Disney Channel person. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you know, I watched, you know, just Disney Channel and stuff like that. But anyways, man, it's your boy Jay, man. Take it